Alright, what's happening? Fake truth here. A bunch going on. There's always a bunch going on. Just depends on how deep you want to go, on which subject. You can't infinitely go into anything, really. Well, you just gotta play it as it lies. I want to get into Doom Patrol. I want to get into some symbols there. But let's just check the news first. Because I think it's relevant. This is trippy, right? What do you see? I see a hexagon. A six-sided figure. And it's filled in by more hexagons. It's like hexagons on hexagons. And so, yeah, if you're into science, they've been working on this for a really long time, trying to get room temperature superconductivity. It's sort of the holy grail, and it's really gonna like fix a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, just make a whole bunch possible. Um, they haven't really been able to figure it out. But I want to point this out. This word here, magic, and the hexagon. Hexagon. It's magic. And if this really is, yeah, if this really is true, I guess they still haven't really figured out how to produce graphene efficiently. So maybe that's still sort of a sticking point. But yeah, if they can make superconductivity in any sort of real way, then that's a big deal. Right, but they use these words: playground. It's magic. I mean, the basic concept is print a layer of graphene and then lay another layer on top and twist it like this, and it just becomes superconductive, which is pretty nuts. And the guy that was figured it out like didn't really think it was possible, or didn't really see it coming. So I don't know. Interested to see where that goes, but I'm mostly focused here on the hexagon and the magic of the hexagon here in this article. So this one was going around. This whole 5G thing, I don't know. The internet, YouTube is already fully saturated with 5G talk. Definitely get enough of that. Get more than enough of fear mongering about 5G. But it was interesting, I think, to see this in The Guardian and some mainstream stuff, to see them talking about, right, put lives at risk. 5G is dangerous. And I'm starting to think that, yeah, I mean, this whole 5G thing is maybe like, I mean, it's definitely a psyop. Things are used for many different reasons at different times. It's hard, I guess, to really explain and talk about stuff because, at least this kind of stuff, because it's always like it's a multi-pronged approach. Right? Is it internet? Is it a weapon? Is it brain melting, mind control? Is it all those things? Right? But the point is that meteorologists apparently are saying that 5G is going to cause a problem for their instruments that they use. Like it's the same frequencies that the elements emit, right? One example is the 23.8 gigahertz frequency. Water vapor emits a faint signal at the specific natural wavelength, and this data is monitored and measured by weather satellites. Forecasters then use this information to work out how a storm or weather system is likely to develop. Right, but they're gonna be sending you Netflix on this specific frequency, which also is just nuts. I mean, 23 gigahertz. That's crazy. Like 5 gigahertz is your average router, and 23.8 gigahertz. But apparently, that's water vapor emits that faint signal at the specific natural wavelength. And so, how does that line up? Like, does is 5G gonna be able to actually like produce water vapor? Are they just sending data over this gigahertz? And these are the frequencies that they're gonna be using, right? And I guess that the article is more about the fight that they're all having, that America's pushing through and sort of auctioning off these bandwidths to mobile carriers, and then basically, yeah, once you own that bandwidth, like it's yours, I guess. So if Verizon is at 36 and 37, and then I don't know, T-Mobile is at 38 and 39, etc. Right, but again, like to point out, it's not. It's this massive spectrum. Everything about 5G is like 20 million times more crazy than anything that's ever been before. Right? It's been from 1G to 5G, even for like fast routers and stuff. Like I don't know that much about routers, but right, stuff has been really down around that frequency, and you can still, I don't know, download stuff. Um, it just makes me think a lot more about, like, right, you don't even know, you have no idea what is even possible with this sort of frequency band from 23 to 92, and that's what they're saying. Right, 36 is for rain and snow, 50 is for atmospheric temperature, 86 to 92 helps analyze cloud and ice. And right, that's basically like the whole weather thing. Like, you want to talk about HARP, you want to talk about trails and a bunch of other sort of manipulating of the weather. Like, this is the whole full weather spectrum that is, I guess, within this technology's capability of producing. Like, I'm just wondering, like, if is that gonna be if they can melt your insides with like active denial style, can they also create like ice and rain and snow and water vapor? Can they just magic that with this new 5G? Is that something they're already doing? Because right, newsflash, these things are everywhere. Just gonna pull up one of my daily shots, I guess. Trying to catch them all here in LA. I was just pulling this up. So, right, this is definitely a pretty common style around the city, where you'll see like a bank of them. You'll see four, and right, they'll tell you that it's because of city ordinances and other sort of local zoning rules and stuff, that they have to mask these things. They gotta try and hide them at least a little bit. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I just keep thinking about how much this is costing. Like, it's crazy amount of labor, even, like, right, they put it right at this level. They didn't want to put it anywhere else, and the building already had these stripes on it, and they striped the 5G just to like help it blend in, but it doesn't, because it's all like angled or whatever, and it's the exact same color as the building, right? This just takes a lot of like research and time. You think about just this project here, like, and think of stuff that you do with your lives. Like, you gotta find this building. Oh man, like, yeah, height, paint, match, etc. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a huge company and a huge network, so they got that down. But right, but again, is this what they're talking about? Are these different sort of frequencies here? Is this going to be different groups, different companies, different providers, or is it really like these are the main bands, like your rain, your ice, your snow, etc. Right? Mind control, whatever it can do. But it's interesting to me that there's like it's just getting out in the open, this fight about 5G. Like, it's already all over the conspiratainment world that 5G's gonna kill us and mind control us and all that bad stuff. And most of the stuff in the mainstream has been like, this is gonna be cool, right? Verizon, I already saw Verizon like running ads about 5G, saying, with this guy saying how easy the installation was and how awesome it is. See a lot of that in the mainstream, but this is sort of a new thread, I guess, where the meteorologists are mad. They're gonna like, I don't know. I don't know if it's really going to be like meteorologists versus the telecom industry. Obviously, telecom is going to win, but basically, they're saying it's going to make it harder to forecast for America, and I don't know. Crazy storms will happen, and we won't know about it, and then we're screwed, I guess. But at least it'd be like watching Netflix in these storms. But also, like, yeah, can't they just use the 5G to predict? There must be other technology. And that's the other thing. They've been using this frequency band to predict the weather for a super long time? Like, how long have meteorologists been operating in these frequencies? Guess I should read up more on satellites and stuff. And just general war over there. Sort of interested to see where this goes. I mean, it's so hard to tell these days what is real, what is on purpose. Right? Because there's nothing to stop something from being real and then being used. You take the opportunity, figure that out, and push it forward. Or right? Or it's sort of a gradation of that. It could be planned from the start. It could be planned from the middle. One thing you gotta watch is that, right? These guys tend to be pretty good at adjusting, like getting things back on course. Like even if a pretty crazy curveball comes in. So yeah, I don't know. This has been building. It's building back up again. It feels like North Korea a little bit. Like, oh, they got the rockets. No, they don't. Oh, but maybe they're gonna get the rockets. Maybe they're gonna get us. Maybe not. But maybe. Anyways, that's what I got for news. Let's get into this Doom Patrol, because I don't know. It's sort of I watch a lot of TV. Definitely watch and have watched insane amounts of episodes of television, and I think it's sort of desensitized me a little bit, because I remember back when I hadn't watched much TV how powerful these images were, and how much of an emotional effect it would have on me, like the characters and the situations, and obviously still a fan. I still watch a lot of TV, but once you start to see the patterns, I think after watching things so much, it's hard to like not see them, basically. But it can also, I think it's helpful to really consciously try to notice these things, because I don't know, it breaks the spell a little bit, and that's it's worth giving a shot, because yeah, what can you say? I think it's just worth your time to think about, what are you looking at day in, day out, whether it be the sky, the news, or your entertainment. Like, and entertainment's a time when you're susceptible, right? You're tired, you're finally at the end of your day, and you just want to unwind, right? So you're like an open target at that point. Like, you open yourself up to all sorts of stuff. That's how I use TV. You watch it when, yeah, you need a break, you need to recharge, etc., etc. It's just an interesting frame, Ovaltine. Right. This is a sort of portrayal of the higher ups. This is like the above military and the above government, and they're worried about this. This it's like a black site full of crazy stuff that's happening. And again, right? It's fiction. It's Doom Patrol. It's DC. Their big push for trying to get some market share back from Marvel, who is absolutely dominating the filmed comic book scene. But this is really not a bad show, so hopefully it'll get them something. I know it's rough out there, right? But black site, obviously something that isn't real in the real world. Black site's where crazy stuff is happening, and these guys are trying to keep it under control. We're gonna stick to the symbolism. You obviously see this giant halo circle table, and this character. I'm forgetting who this character is, but probably the main character or the main bad guy. I can't remember right now, but he's in the center, right? And that you see this mirror image on both sides. That is so common. It's hard to even exaggerate how common this is. A parallelized sort of scene here, whether it be like two columns on the side, and what it makes you do is sort of focus on the main character. And you see the composition. This is right, the military, and then the actually like above military person, and how they're situated on either side of this main character, and how he's situated in the center of this sort of loop here, and how that it does a lot. It focuses you in. It brings your eye towards it, but it does a lot more too. So just that is like the basics. Oh man, I wanted to pull this up. So you see the key. It's a sword and a key. And I've seen this a lot. Let's see if I can pull. I'm gonna get a copyright for this one. It's only 11 seconds, guys. And that might be an old one, actually. I don't know if you recognize that, but that's the Magicians. And in previous years it wasn't there, but in the title sequence, this same symbol seems to appear. And I'm gonna have to look that one up. It's the same symbol as the library. Yeah, that's good. It's gonna be too hard to find right now. But I've been seeing this specific, right, the sword and the key symbol in different shows, which is it's just sort of puzzling, right? So this is apparently the symbol of this overarching network power structure, whatever you want to call it, right? Our internet's favorite idea of the powers that be. That's what this is. At least that's what it is portrayed in the show. And in the Magicians, you're right, the librarians are the people that are in charge of the world. Basically, they have they're like demigods. Basically, they can do whatever they want. And this is their symbol too. I'm pretty sure it's the same symbol. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'll look it up. I'll look it up later. Right, but again, you talk about one thing, you miss something else. There's just always so much in any given image, right? Here's your guy. Here's our main guy. Mirrored image objects on both sides in this parallel. There's a lot of parallel in this image specifically. And this, right? I'm taking stills, but this whole image is symbolism, and just right. Let's keep talking about the basics. Like, this is very powerful to have it. It makes you focus in and empathize with this person, whatever's going on with them. It really makes you zero in on that specific person. And right, this is the basic version where there's only one person in the frame, but this technique can be used when there's more people in to focus you in on who you should be empathizing with, basically. All right. And so, right, we were just talking about hexagons. Hexagons for days. Hexagons forever. I mean, the more you consciously recognize them, the more you'll see them. It's nonstop. It's relentless. It truly is. And it's often used, right? Again, like you talk about one thing, you're gonna miss something else. It's beehives. It's molecular structure, adrenochrome, on and on and on, right? But what I see often it being used as is in this sort of prison sense where somebody has been captured. Seen it a lot in like force field, right? If somebody's caught in a force field next time, checks to see if it's a force field of hexagons, and there's a good chance it's gonna be the Star Trek. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times in recent times. So yeah, right. They're locked up in this secret government facility that the key and the sword people are using. And the grates are hexagons basically. It's a little blurry in this frame, but I mean some of these look like circles. But you see the hexagonal structure. I hope you can see that. Hexagons. And then I guess, well, what if we zoom in really far? I mean, that's more pixelation, basically. That doesn't support my argument. But it's on both sides. It's on all of these cages. I mean, they're prison places or whatever. And another thing to notice a lot is the light source. Light source here. And I mean, this is some not so main character, not so central character, but you see, I mean, would technically be considered a light source. He's situated in between these two light sources. But now that there are different colors, it's offset, right? That's gonna have a different effect on your mind. Why did I take this frame? Can you spot it? Did you find it yet? It's right there. Do you see the hexagon? I mean, it's sort of become my favorite game is find the hexagon because a lot of times you win. Find the hexagon. You see it? It's right here. Hexagonal structure here in the background on this computer thing that they had to program in extra. It's like on a screen. It's not part of this other. It's a hexagon. It just is. Like you can't, right? You can talk about how maybe it doesn't matter and who cares, but it's there. And I'm just gonna keep going because it's trying to build up a collection. It's my hexagon collection, and it's really easy. And the hexagon is really sort of the beginning of that whole story. I mean, any of these shapes, right? The Illuminati triangle obviously is. Oh, damn, I wasn't supposed to say that. Are you guys gonna stop the stream? Don't stop the stream. Right? The powers that be people. That's the triangle, and that's another whole other power thing, and you'll see that a lot as well. And this goes all the way up, right? The pentagon, the hexagon. Don't see a lot of septagons. What is that called again? um, but you do see a lot of octagons. We're gonna get in the octagons later. And circles, obviously. Circles is a whole nother thing. And this interesting. I thought it was interesting. The floor is circles. A lot of times you see the floor being hexagons as well. Check your bathroom. Are your bathroom floor tiles hexagons? Just check. I mean, yeah, just check. And another thing here, I mean, there's just so much to get into. Another aspect of this is color and the effect of color that it can have on your brain powers. this blue and red thing's been around for a real long time, right? Think all the way back to like those 3D glasses or whatever, the really old ones. You looked one eye through red and one eye through blue, and that was right. Think about how it is now, and like, right, just the mind control, the pure unadulterated mind control that we got going on, and just play it back to older generations, and it was there already. Like, that's what was happening, and we're seeing like the modern version of it. So, um, right, they're captured in this show like the whole time. Every episode seems to be about them rescuing one of the other ones. Like they're like they're like an anti-hero crew of superheroes. But they're all, I guess they're like starting to wrap the show up because they're all captured in this episode and all getting tortured in different ways. It's a very like psychological show. Um, and this is what is his name? Larry, the guy with that's like has a magical astral light being that lives inside him and makes him immortal, which is also like, uh, can you see around three corners? Like it's the orbs, it's the whatever you want to call it. Like it's in this show. Like they're just saying it's a superhero thing, but I mean you see that, right? Um, but the blue and the red, right? He's getting like messed with his I feel like they're making him see something in this. Should take notes. There's just so much to get through. But he's getting like brainwashed in some way or another. And this every shot in the scene has these powerful blue and red lights in it. And combining sort of the purple, but this blue and the red. It's the blue and the red, and that's I was talking about Star Trek the other day. Like that is in every single frame of that show. The blue and the red. It's just blue and red, and then more blue and red, and it. Right, they're talking about what's happening to a character, but it happens a little bit to you. Like that's part of empathy. You have that feeling that like, oh man, that sucks. I've never been, you know, possessed by a light being and then tortured, but I can sort of picture it, and I got this whole, sweet display showing me exactly what it looks like and feels like. So, right, just go with it. Just go with it. So you get a little brainwashed when people are getting brainwashed. You get a little tortured when people are getting tortured. You get a little high when people are getting high. That's how it works. That's why you keep coming back. Right? The blue and the red. It's just the blue and the red all the time. And that's I thought was interesting because like, right, this is one of these like panels that are probably like in the building or whatever. But they're not usually. I mean, you see red ones, you see green ones, blue ones, not usually. So they like changed out the buttons, or maybe they just color corrected it. But it's very striking, very striking. The blue and the red, the blue and the red, the blue and the red, and the blue and the red, and the blue and the red, the blue and the red. Can you find the hexagon? Do you see it? Because it's there. He's trapped. He's trapped. He's attached to this magnet. I mean, do you believe me? It's hexagons. They are. It's kind of low res. Damn it. Fucking screenshots. But it's hexagons. The hexagons have him captured. He's been captured by the hexagons. And he's talking about how he's not a good robot because he got captured by this magnet. But I don't know. Somehow Doom Patrol always comes out on top. So hexagons. Also over here you see hexagons. I mean, this is just kind of weird. At the end of the episode, they keep talking about they don't want to piss off the butts, and then the butts. The butts get loose, and then the butts are like these face-eating butts, and they're They're just running down the street. Is there a hexagon here? No, it's mostly just butts. And guns. You ever shot a gun before? I don't think I've ever shot a real gun before, but I feel like I know what it feels like because I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of guns shot. I forgot why I took this frame. I mean, depends on the show, depends on the people working on it, depends on 1,000 things. But so some shows are a little more meticulous than others. But again, you're right. Here's that guy we've been talking about. Parallel structure. Up and down. You got one hero here. You got one hero here. And then you got the goons or whatever. They don't matter. Same presentation here. Every single time. So that's about all I got. I'm going over time. Trying to keep this about half an hour unless anybody has any questions. Because, it'd be good to talk about this kind of thing too. See what you guys think. This came out the same day as the Dead to Me show. And this is just I haven't seen, or I guess watched social engineering this powerful or just blatant in a while. It's kind of intense. I don't even want to get into that. It's kind of boring. But lesbians smoking weed, all the things that you should do, right? You should smoke weed. You should become a lesbian when your husband dies. Those are things you should do. Look how fun it looks. You're at the beach. Look how fun it looks. Oh, she's so beautiful. Just gonna wrap it up with the weather. Just want to make sure these are from yesterday. Didn't manage to get on yesterday. See some nice little action here. Nothing major though. Pretty minor action. This is sort of a double whammy here because we got some nice trails going on, and then my other favorite game. I just I don't know. Maybe it's all the Where's Waldo when I was a kid. I just like finding stuff. Can you spot the 5G? Wait, I thought it was a city ordinance that they had to blend in and like be on the wall. They should have painted these black and like put they're on the roof. But they're not painted. That was okay. This is like close by the other one. And again, we see 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Patterns. Do you recognize them? Are you being led down some bad tunnel? Am I giving you misinfo? I mean, maybe. Maybe I'm just tricking myself. Or maybe there's hexagons goddamn everywhere. And these are from today. A little more wispy, a little more spread. Still very light though. Light but permanent. I was watching this one for quite some time. It didn't seem to change or move or do anything. It was just sort of there. Man, well, while I got these pulled up, you just can't stop. There's always something in a picture. This is like, right? This one's a little more different than the other ones because this is like a whole array. They scale up from here. I've seen walls with like 20 of them on the wall. It's like, why do you need 20 of them, bro? And this one has some of these other sort of module. This is more of the square one. This is one you see mostly. This long sort of rectangle. Long rectangle. But this one has some of the squares and some of the long rectangles. And this is more of the microwave, circly kind of thing. And I just think it's hilarious that this poster from Whole Foods, owned by Amazon, with this coming food shortage, is like, produce gonna stay cheap. Don't worry. No food crisis here at Amazon land. But this was later in the day. It was these sort of more low-hanging have to like look this up because this is a specific type of cloud. Really low hanging, just fully like block out. Which I thought was interesting. I haven't seen these around here in quite some time. Well, that's all I got. I'm gonna go. Yeah, continue just sort of abusing myself and shortening my life because that's what we're supposed to be doing. Have fun. Relax. Just take a load off, you know? Have a drink. Maybe you should have a drink. Just you know, take the stress off. Maybe have a little smoke, you know? That's what you should do. That's what you do when you relax. That's how you relax. That's how you participate. That's how you know you're part of the team. We'll see you guys tomorrow.